What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog, back in Standard with a Temur control build. That's right, Temur, because why not? So Temur control, 2 copies of Essence Scatter, very creature heavy meta, so being able to counter creatures in the main deck feels pretty solid. 2 copies of Fire Prophecy, again, 3 damage to target creature. We get to put a card from our hand back into our library and get to draw a brand new card. So these kind of control decks, when you have lots of top-end heavy stuff, sometimes having that redraw to help you find lands or other more removal spells can be pretty powerful. And again, we're very creature-heavy meta, so being able to hit creatures in the main deck feels pretty solid. Scorching Dragonfire, same thing, but also hits Planeswalkers, instant speed. And of course, if it dies, it goes to exile instead. Running 2 copies of Wilt. We have other ways of kind of dealing with artifacts and enchantments, as far as maybe some counter magic. So Wilt can also be cycled away if it's not relevant. Sometimes certain matchups they just don't play anything that really this matters against. So you could run Broken Wings instead, but I think Wilt just kind of works a little better because we have other kind of ways around that. And just being able to cycle this away where it's not relevant, and 2 mana in speed, pretty solid either way. Control decks, card advantage is pretty key, so Mazemind Tome gives us scry or card draw. Whatever we want to do. If we're looking for lands, we can just keep scrying into lands. If we have our lands, we can just maybe hold this open to draw some cards. And once we've activated it 4 times, we exile and we gain 4 life. So pretty great against the creature-heavy matchups. 3 copies of Neutralize, being able to counter anything for 3 mana, pretty reasonable. And we also cycle this away if we don't need it at that point of the game. 3 copies of Soul Sear, 5 damage to a creature or a planeswalker in speed. And that permanent lose indestructible. 2 copies of Cultivate, be able to fix our land since we are, trying to get to some pretty powerful top-end stuff, but also trying to play the bare minimum number of lands. So Cultivate kind of helps us, kind of fix that situation a little bit. Just 2 copies though. 2 copies of Inscription of Insight. Just all 3 modes here are relevant, being able to return 2 creatures to their owner's hands, but it'll scry 2, draw 2, or make an XX token where X is the number of cards in our hand. We can also kick this to get all 3 modes for 8 mana. Obviously, we're control decks, so we can get to the late game for that 8 mana is actually relevant. 2 copies of Mythos of Illuna for a little bit of spice. Be able to copy any permanent that's on the battlefield, and if we spend Temur mana, we can have create a copy that's a copy of a creature token, and we can have that permanent fight 1 target creature we don't control. So it's kind of like a removal spell. 2 copies of Solemn Simulacrum, kind of go along with our Cultivate plan, be able to dig up land cards to the battlefield. Of course, Solemn is a 2/2 body, kind of help protect some of our planeswalkers, things like that. And when it dies, we get to draw a card. 2 copies here of Chandra, gives us kind of a win condition here with her +1 to deal 2 damage to any target. It can also be used to pick off smaller creatures, things like that. And if we do end up empty-handed, we can just +1 to discard our hand, then exile 3 cards, and play cards exiled this way until end of turn. Obviously, we have some counter magic and things like that, but we have plenty of other things. We have a lot of sorceries. We have other planeswalkers who might want to play, some enchantments, things like that. So Chandra definitely pretty relevant here. 2 copies of Ox of Agonas. So much mill and whatnot running around. Ox of Agonas seems pretty reasonable to run even in the main deck. It does give us another threat here, even if our opponent isn't doing that, or we just hardcast this for 5 mana. Be able to, discard anything we don't need at that point, and then just draw 3 brand new cards. Feels pretty reasonable, and if the opponent does have a way to deal with it, then we can just escape it for 2 mana. And at the cost of 8 other cards. And we're control decks, we have plenty of, removal spells, counter spells, things that we may fill up our own graveyard with. And then we can escape it with a +1 counter on it, and draw 3 brand new cards. 2 copies of Vivien. Obviously, we're not playing a ton of creatures, just the Ox and the Solemn, so maybe get some value off that. Mostly just there to +1 and just keep making 3/3 beast tokens and kind of flood the board with creatures. And just kind of use those to kind of help us stabilize and kind of eventually kind of take over the game. 4 copies of Shark Typhoon. Speaking of creature tokens, we can cycle this, make a shark token, draw a card. Or we can just hardcast this as an enchantment that gives us a token every time we cast non-creature spells. Since our deck is very non-creature heavy, then we're going to get tons of value off this. That's only if you have the ability to kind of take a turn off to play this for 6 mana, and you don't expect your opponent has a way to deal with it. Speaking of powerful enchantments, we've got Kiora, Best of Sea God here at our top end. 2 of these 7 mana spells, so a little bit expensive. But we get to make a 8/8 Kraken creature token with hexproof. Then we get to tap all non-land permanents on our opponent's side, which don't untap during their next untap step. And then we get to gain control of any permanent on our opponent's side. So lands, creatures, enchantments, artifacts, any permanent that we want, we get to have it. Finally, here we got 2 copies of Shatterskull Smashing, which can also be a land, but also doubles as a removal spell. We can have it come in untapped at the cost of 3 life if we need to. So, rest of the mana base, 4 Island, 3 Mountain, 3 Forest, 4 Riverglide Pathway, 4 Cragcrown Pathway, and of course all 4 of the Triomes. Sideboard, we're looking at 2 Thundering Rebukes, plenty of creatures that have 4 toughness, so the Scorching Dragonfire and the Fire Prophecy aren't quite good enough, so Rebuke can kind of help us out with that. Deny the Divine with all the mill and everything running around. Obviously, we've already seen Kroxa make an impact. Even Purphoros is kind of starting to see a little bit more play, things like that. So, people emphasizing escape. Well, we can exile creatures or even enchantments if we need to, and as a counterspell, pretty solid. 2 Mystical Disputes, again, for those, rogues, mill, things like that. Very powerful counter magic against them. 1 Barrier Breach to exile 3 enchantments at the cost of 3 mana. It's to be pretty powerful. You can also cycle this way if it's not quite relevant. But most of the time you're just going to bring this up against, say, like Shrines or any enchantment-heavy list. 2 copies of Klothys is going to be our graveyard interaction, being able to exile a card from a graveyard. It can be a ramp, but sometimes it can be relevant. Mostly we're just going to use this here to ping our opponent down and gain us 2 life back. 2 copies here of Storm's Wrath for those kind of go-wide strategies. We have a couple Planeswalkers, obviously, but we'll just kind of slow roll those and just make sure we get a good Storm's Wrath out first. 2 copies of a Sublime Epiphany. We do have some creatures we can copy, some creature tokens, things like that. So we can definitely get some value off our Epiphany here against those control and other sort of mid-range matchups. So yeah, we can definitely potentially get value off all modes of this. Counter a spell, activated ability, or triggered ability as well. Or return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that's a copy of a creature you control, and draw a card. Do all of those things, potentially. And 2 Purphoros Intervention. So in Temur colors, we don't have like the good hard removal like you see in black with like Heartless Axe, Murderous Riders, things like that. So Purphoros Intervention is a very powerful removal spell for bigger creatures, bigger threats. Maybe an Elder Gargoth, maybe some creature that we weren't able to answer in the early game, and it's got a bunch of counters on it, and now it's really, really big. Things like that. Purphoros Intervention gives us some good removal against those decks, and if we have been able to answer their threats, then we can just play this down as an X1 elemental token with Trample and Haste, and potentially kind of kill your opponent, or at least kind of turn the tides and really pressure their life total instead. All right, that's the list, and jump into some matches. All right, man, just a Bubble Dragon. You had to go first. Nice. The land's not very nice. Man, these draws have been pretty brutal today for some reason. Alright, Island, say go. Oh, Mountain. Mountain, go. Right, we'll leave open the Scorching Dragonfire. A Robber of the Rich. Bone Crusher Giant. Okay, so this is a mono red build. Let's just cultivate here. Alright, so we'll have all of our lands here at this point. 2 blue, 2 red, 2 green. We'll be able to cast pretty much everything we want from here on out. Know about the mountains, we'll play that. We got Soul Sear or Dragonfire for this Bone Crusher Giant. Probably doesn't matter too much either way. Well, we'll Dragonfire it first and hold up in Soul Sear in case they're running, Terror of the Peaks or stuff like that. Right, we'll Soul Sear the Bone Crusher Giant, and then Dragonfire the NX. Okay. You act like you've never seen a removal spell, dude. You're in mono red, and you see removal all the time, I'm sure. There you go. That's it. That's all you got. Put this on green. Solemn. Grab another. Oh yeah, shock my dude. Cool, we get to draw and to get a land. Perfect. We'll take that action. Take that action. Blue, I guess. Alright, so got Wilt if they have another NX. Torbrand. We got Soul Sear for that, so no problem. Might need to ditch this Mythos of Illuna. Heart of Fire. Well, it starts at 5, buses it up to 6, so Soul Sear doesn't quite get there. Can keep the Chandra in check, but we can also Mythos their Chandra and make our own. Seems not terrible. Not ideal, but not terrible. We'll ping down there Chandra just to keep her in check, in case the ultimate matters. Alright, 3 cards in hand. What do you got? We have a Wilt for another Annex. Fire Prophecy can deal with it as well. Purphoros' Intervention. Wow. And a mono red build, main deck. Thought I was the one that was interested in that card. I was a fan of that card. Alright, opponent's just burning this out. We're not finding any of our win conditions or anything like that. We'll cycle this away. That was a Vivien, not terrible. Vigilance, pass. We can cycle the Triome or Fire Prophecy. This Prophecy and then discarding the Triome is the same thing. Not discard, but redrawing it. Huh. You gonna go after my Vivien? Cool. I guess the Bone Crusher Giant. Just get that off the board. We're gonna cycle that anyway. Might as well just do that. If you want to draw here, Shark Typhoon's not terrible. Vigilance. Okay, fine with attacking this Chandra down. You want to trade? That's fine. So if they do find a way to deal with the tokens, we have Vigilance, so we have to deal with both of them. Okay. We're going to Shark here for 3. Can't afford to take a turn off just to hardcast it. Well, that would be a ton of value. Volcanic Geyser. Weaselback Redcap. So this is not your average mono red build. I can kill our Vivien here, which would suck. But we got a Kiora coming down. I'll let them go to combat. No combat. 3, yeah. Neutralize. Go and fire off Kiora. Swing all in at the Chandra here. Trade with one of our tokens. You can double block the other 3/3 and then kill it with your Arsonist trigger. They choose not to. Get me down to 7. I mean, the shot is putting a clock on us, so we definitely need to do something. Once you're missing double blue here, so we can't neutralize. We can cycle it, but if we can dodge anything, we can hold up and neutralize from here on out, and hope we can deal with this Chandra. Embercleave. Don't think that's going to get it done. I'm going to pump your Weaselback. And Embercleave. That's pretty good. 5, yeah, they still have mana to equip. Let's see, we have to block here. We have the Neutralize. We're just missing a second blue source to actually be able to counter this Ember Cleave. We get to kill their creature though. And Chandra next turn. They just did away with both of our creatures. We need to get that Chandra off the board now. Alright, we have Neutralize open still. We're going to hardcast this, so we're going for it, baby. Alright, whatever they play here, we can just Neutralize. Don't even care, we're just going to counter it. Let's get a 3/3. Oh! We get Embercleave. Boom. Oh yeah, look at that. We got Neutralize still. Again, they're in top deck mode. Just counter anything they play, and we kill them next turn. Inscription. Alright, taking down the mighty Mono Red. Okay, this game one, so... any sort of life gain should be good here. I mean, Mazemind Tome is decent. I think I'll Cultivate. I need to get some value off of Mythos there, but probably better off with Storm's Wrath. Mazemind is nice, it does gain us life, but could be a little bit slow. Probably just need all hands on deck for removal. Or even deny the Divine. Intervention. We'll bring an Intervention, take out the Ox. Ox feels like it's pretty vulnerable against the Mono Red. Whether it's 2 toughness or 3 toughness, pretty much anything in their deck is going to be able to answer it. So we'll just kill everything they have on board, and then they can't really do anything from there. Alright, Scatter, Dragonfire, Soul Sear. Perfect. No turn 1 play, that's even better. Still nothing. Perfect. We can counter or kill anything they play. Empty graveyards, no reason to play Klothys here. Very curious mono red build. Poor Brain. We don't really like that. We can Soul Sear it. So that's fine. Don't need to scatter. We'll wait until we have counter magic backup before I drop this Klothys, so we can do that next turn. Tear the Peaks? I don't think so, my dude. Inscription. So if they do resolve something nasty here, I'll play this on green just for the fixing. And yeah, we still have Wilt or Scorching Dragonfire open to us. And if they resolve like a terror or something here, we have Inscription to always bounce it. Wow. Alright, we definitely want to save. Doesn't really matter. I don't think Mono Red has any way to interact with their graveyard. Alright, we can't do Vivien plus hold open, so we'll just pass. Omen of the Forge. Yeah, you can hit me for 2 and you can scry even if you want. I'm not going to waste a Wilt on that. Save for Embercleave or Annex. Might need to Inscription just to find some more lands and whatnot. These represent counter magic, not that they really have any way to play around it since they're just kind of in top deck mode. Looks like we're taking 2 more here. Well, then we're going to gain 2 right back. There's a land. I don't think it matters too much. We're slightly leaning towards blue, so we'll Vivien. Make a 3/3, get a little bit of protection. Vigilance. Also do reach since they have terror, but we've only seen the 1 in these 2 games so far. Hellkite Punisher. Jeez. So we do need to find an answer for that. 6/6. That's pretty rough. Reach. We can Shark Typhoon it, right? Yeah, I think we'll just hold open the cycle and just try to ambush them rather than trying to waste this inscription on bouncing. Yeah, I'm just gonna block, dude. You can pump it up all you want. Just gonna tap out just to. One, two, three, four, 5. Gonna get a land off the top. We have 8 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, so we can actually kick this inscription, but there's no reason to since they have empty board, or they're about to. With 8 power, they can take out both of our creatures, which sucks. But we got Vivien here. We get to eat their library or their graveyard some more. Let's go reach since they are representing more flyers. We got a couple kill spells. Let's just go ahead and draw. Let's draw. Put both of those away. Shatterskull is okay, but let's see if we can find something else. I'm gonna play a Solemn. Why not? All right, we're pretty well set at this point. Tectonic Giant. Okay, we got the Thundering Rebuke. Doesn't matter, we don't have any interaction for our graveyard. Yep, you're gonna get some value. You're gonna hit me for 3. You're gonna exile some cards. Exile, obviously. Bone Crusher plus Volcanic Geyser. Geyser is an instant, so right, fire it off for 3. Pick off one of my tokens. Pretty good draw for them. Geyser on a Vivien for 3. Sure. Keep her in check. Not that it really matters too much, but I guess if they find some removals. Oh, and we have lethal on them. Wasn't even paying attention to their life total. Yeah, Klothys. Powerhouse. Ooh. It's Raceland 79. Well, that's interesting. Guess we're just gonna cultivate here. Forest go. Fine, we're just Dragonfiring that now. Alright, cultivate. With the Triome here, we pretty much have all the resources we need. If I can do anything, we'll just drop our Vivien. Vigilance. Mono green, don't they have flyers? Are they playing bigger stuff? Cool. You spent 4 mana just to do a thing. Awesome. So play it on red. Not that it matters too much. Yeah, stick with Vigilance. There you go. Okay, so they're mono green food. Now we got it. Okay. Mono green food. We want Rebuke, Storm's Wrath. Probably play the Troll King too, so probably want Deny. Mazemind might be a little slow. We can Wilt the Trail of Crumbs. Is that worth it? This Cultivate feels a little superfluous. Just want more removal, I think. Mythos is okay, but maybe we'll shave that off as well. Probably running Troll King, so might maybe want Klothys, but also have to deal with the Klothys first before it gets to the graveyard. Alright, this is okay. The turn 1 Goose. Okay, so much better start from our opponent. Dragonfire. It's pretty decent. Okay, oh, Selesnya. So, Selesnya food? Something? No, 2 Goose. Dragonfire doesn't really do a whole lot against them. I don't think. Maybe they have a 5-mana spell here that's not good for us. Well, we can Soul Sear that. Obviously, Storm's Wrath would have been ideal, but they went first, so we don't have the option. I don't want them to get any more value, so we'll go ahead and fire this off now. Play this on red, and then hopefully we can kind of clean up with a Storm's Wrath. One more creature. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, Storm's Wrath. Come on down. Should end the game here. Wow, they put the counter on the ooze. We do need some lands, but we do have some cycling abilities, so we're okay. It's another reason why I can run just kind of the bare minimum number of lands, because we have cycling and other ways to kind of draw, to cultivate, Solemn Simulacrum. Yeah, you just got stormed with that, dude. Well, Chandra on an empty board seems fine. Got them on the 10 turn, or would that be 10 turn clock? Yeah. Llanowar Visionary, okay. Let's keep them off of any creatures of any kind. We have 0 green manas. Right, we'll cycle for 3. We're drawing some cards. Cycle 3, please. Trial. Alright, that's our green manas. And we have Neutralize. Perfect. Just keep you off creatures. We can worry about the life total later. We got Neutralize, and we can cycle this Wilt. Orion. Not too worried about it, but better safe than sorry. Cycle you away. No Trail of Crumbs in play, so we're not going to worry about it too much. We have Kiora. Yep. I should just about do it here. We might have some tricks up their sleeves though, we'll see. I got Questing Beast, that might be pretty rough. ECD on our Chandra. Kiora. Okay, well we have We have lethal here, so sweet. Taking down the mighty Selesnya food deck. We'll take it. We will take it. Alright, pretty nice short match. Obviously, the draws are pretty crucial to the deck. We do have like Mazemind Tome, we have cycling, things like that. So it kind of allows us to run the bare minimum number of lands, so we can kind of maximize our counters and kill spells, while also still having some nice threats at our top end. So yeah, don't really need green for a control deck. You can definitely just run straight up Izzet or Jessica or something like that and be just fine. But you know, green does. Vivien is even though she looks like she's very creature heavy, you don't even have to have creatures to actually get value off of Vivien. You can just control the board and then just have Vivien make a bunch of 3/3s, and then you know, if you're able to just kill everything your opponent does, well, you can just use those 3/3s to kind of take over the game. You know, a lot of creature decks are pretty limited to spot removal typically, so yeah, you just keep grinding them out. You know, Cultivate's kind of help you fix your mana and also kind of dig for more lands. So you can get to your Kiora, Best Sea God, and your Planeswalkers, things like that. So it's pretty nice. And then Wilt is just a nice flexible card. There's plenty of artifacts and enchantments in the meta. Obviously, Embercleave is the #1, but then you also saw some colorless decks that are floating around out there. So having the main deck answer for that, you can run the Broken Wings instead. But we have so much other removal and things like that. But I think Wilt is fine. Just the fact that you can cycle it away, and it's a little bit cheaper. At 2 mana, even though it doesn't hit flyers, but we have Soul Sear, Scatter, Prophecy, Dragonfire, kind of deal with most flyers. Anyways, we also have the Mythos of Illuna, which can kind of be used in a pinch, but not really sure this one even belongs in here, honestly. The more I played it, it seemed like we typically just kind of copy like a bigger creature that we don't have good answer for, and then just have it fight. So it ends up being just kind of 4 mana kill spell. So maybe Mythos of Illuna is just a little bit too cute. But it has come in handy sometimes. Being able to copy opponents' Planeswalkers, things like that. You can also, copy a Shark Typhoon token and kind of speed up the clock on your opponent if they don't have a way to deal with that. So there's definitely some nice things you can do with the Mythos here. Definitely have gotten some value, but I don't think you need to run, more than 2 copies, definitely. Otherwise, just have some nice control tools with the Neutralize as a 3 of along with Essence Scatter. And then Prophecy, like I said, sometimes you get a little stuck on lands and you need to dig for more lands, maybe some more removal spells, and you can kind of just redraw your Kiora or your Shark Typhoon. You're not going to get any much value off of anytime soon, and then just kind of go dig for something else. Sideboard here, pretty versatile. Deny the Divine, not really a card I've seen on the list, but I definitely think it deserves some attention with the escape heavy meta that we're in right now. It is pretty interesting. Obviously 3 mana is a little bit expensive, but it's a pretty powerful effect. And other than that, Sublime Epiphany, not quite think it makes the good enough for the main, since we have plenty of counter spells. With all the creature heavy decks, 6 mana is a little bit expensive, but in the right matchups, definitely fills in very nicely. Storm's Wrath obviously cleans up for us. Klothys, I think, is the perfect kind of graveyard answer for us. We have lots of other ways of filling up the graveyard with our kill spells. We have Scorching Dragonfire, which has a little bit of exile removal right there. We have Deny the Divine if we need more exile removal, and even Barrier Breach has some exile on it as well. But yeah, as far as graveyard answers, you could just play it safe and just run like the Soul Guide Lantern or something like that. But Klothys, just because it's good against other decks, against other situations like other control decks, being able to do 2 damage every upkeep, is very difficult for those decks to deal with. And then Intervention gives us some more scalable removal against just a variety of matchups, really. And the Mystical Dispute, of course, pretty clutch against rogues. Haven't really faced off against any yet, but maybe that's because I'm running this card. I don't know. The algorithms are super weird. We do have the Ox here in the main that kind of gives us a different look, kind of ways to refill. Because obviously in control decks, card advantage is key. You need ways to kind of refill your hand, and Ox gives us a threat that also refills our hand in the late game, which is pretty much perfect for us. We have lots of incremental, kind of card advantages. You can even use Vivien to off your Ox to get a Solemn Simulacrum. It's kind of cute, but could be useful sometimes. But other than that, yeah, Kiora, Best Sea God if your opponent isn't able to answer it. This can take over the game for you. You got your Planeswalkers, you got your Shark Typhoon, you got your Mythos of Illuna that can copy something spicy, you got your Inscription that can make a creature token. So there's there's lots of incremental like kind of win conditions and card advantages and things like that that make for a pretty fun deck. Obviously not super competitive, but can definitely hold its own on the ladder. It can definitely win some games with this in ranked gameplay as we just showcase. So yeah, until next time, make sure you guys jank with purpose.